Y'all fucked. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out my video. This is Jace, and this is going to be my review for Insecure Season 2, Episode 2. Alright, y'all, let's just jump right into this shit because this was a good ass episode as expected. Alright, it opens up with Issa telling Molly that, she had sex with Lawrence during that little drive-by, which we ended on last week. And they're both confused. Molly's just trying to figure out, like, hey, like, what the fuck happened? Like, how was it? Was he this kind of a way of him saying he wants to get back with you? And Issa's saying, like, I don't motherfucking know. And Issa is, like, trying to make light of the situation and, saying, it gotta mean something. Like, he came by, that it must mean that he's still in love with me or he wants to get back with me. And Molly is like, bitch, what's going on? Like, what have you talked to him? What have y'all talked? She's like, yeah, I text him, but he a couple of times, and it took him 2 hours to respond. And she's like, well, Molly, like, bitch, you text him during the motherfucking rush hour. He a safe driver and shit like that. So then she's like, the type of sex was it? Was it like a we back together fuck, or was it like a fuck you bitch, I'm done fuck? So that still scene was funny. So then we move on to Lawrence, and Lawrence is just as fucking confused as Issa is. He's sitting there trying to lift weights. However, he's on the phone. He sits up and starts texting Issa or whatever about. No, he didn't start texting her. He was drafting a text. I'm sorry, drafting a text saying, "Hey, this is weird. I guess try to figure out what the fuck is going on." And I don't know if he wanted to apologize or what. But he ends up deleting the text and not even sending it. So then we move on to Molly. She's at her therapist. And I really like this scene because I could kind of relate. I'm sure everybody kind of related to what this therapist was talking about. But Molly was sitting there venting about her job and saying this should have happened and this is supposed to go this way. And basically, she has this vision of how everything should go. And the therapist stopped her and said, well, hey, how come every time you come in here, it's all about what should happen? And she even said, well, hey, the last time you were here, you were saying this should have happened. This should have happened. This should have went this way. And she said it was called magical thinking, where we all have like this perception of how our lives are supposed to be or how situations are supposed to be. And sometimes when they don't go the way that we visualize them, then sometimes we just don't know how to cope with that shit, and we just kind of get crazy, So, and like I said, I relate to that because I've always had this vision of how my life's supposed to go since I was a kid, which I'm sure everybody else has. And sometimes shit gets sidetracked. Situations turn out different. Relationships in different ways. You break up with friends, and just shit happens. So one thing that I did like that she posed to her was she said, would you be open to life looking another way outside of that tunnel of what should happen? I really like that. And it kind of got Molly thinking because she's definitely been having a hard time trying to get into Molly's mind because the bitch is so closed. But yeah, she thought about it and she was like, damn, maybe realize, that may be a potential issue that I have. And she actually has stopped her. She was saying something about excelling or something like that. And she was like, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she was going to say something about how something should happen. She had to cut herself off because she realized that, damn, I do say this should happen this way or this should happen. She cut herself off, and hopefully that's going to be some type of breakthrough that the therapist is going to have with Molly. So moving on. So we get to this little, one of Tiffany's clients is having some kind of art exhibit opening at an art gallery. And she invites all the girls, so they all meet up. And they're just talking or whatever. Fucking messy ass Kelly. It's like, yeah, thanks, Issa, for inviting me to the party the other night. And Issa's like, damn, everything was good until the fucking fire the wall caught on fire. And fucking Kelly gonna say, well, shit, can't nobody say your party wasn't lit. Shit was fucking funny. So then she's like asking them if they wanted to go to some kind of little hole in the wall bar or something. Issa's playing and shit like, nah, I don't want to go to a bar. I just don't feel like, yelling over the crowd and shit like that. And they're like, bitch, you ain't never had a problem with that before. She was like, well, yeah, I'm just not in the mood for going out. Presently, I'm trying to do things different. I'm like, what are you talking about, bitch? Like, cut the bullshit. Because you be the first drunk bitch up in the motherfucking bar busting raps and all kind of bullshit. We know you, bitch. Stop playing games. So here's when she basically tells Tiffany and Kelly that she met up with Lawrence. And the bitch is okay. This is what she says to them. Yeah, Lawrence came by and we had a conversation, a really good conversation. And Molly turns like, she said, wait, y'all talked? Like busted her ass right out. Wait, y'all talked? Y'all had a conversation? What y'all talk about? And Issa was like, shut the fuck up, bitch. So Tiffany is like, oh, cool. Couples go through a lot of things. Even just like Derek and I, like, he's been living in a hotel for the last 6 months and like cuts herself off. And they're all looking at her like, bitch, like, what you talking about? Like, because she had never disclosed to them that, whatever her and Derek's issues been. Then she was like, yeah, I found out he was, but never mind. Like, we're good now. So that's all that matters. That's all I'm trying to, get you to understand. Is like, you go through shit and, you can work through things. And everybody's like, fuck that bullshit you talking about. What the fuck is going on? She never said it. So hopefully this shit's going to come out later on. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think she found out Derek was messing around with some dude. I've been thinking Derek's been gay since he was first introduced in the very first episode of the first season. When they was at that little house party and shit. I thought he was just like a homeboy of the crew. The gay friend. And, come to find out he was her husband. I was just like, what the fuck is... Oh, okay. But Tiffany strikes me as the type to where... because we all seen how bougie they fucking are, her and Derek, and they put on this persona like their relationship is so perfect, everything is perfect, and, it's just, they get on my goddamn nerves with that shit. But, like I'm saying, Tiffany strikes me as the type of girl that, even if she found out he was gay, that she would stick around that situation just to save face. You know what I mean? So they won't be scrutinized as not being the perfect couple, So hopefully we'll find out what the hell all that is about. So, messy ass Kelly. This bitch blurts out. Also, did he break up with that girl yet? He's just like, because she didn't know anything about Tasha. Molly didn't know anything about Tasha. Kelly says, oh, well, shit, Tiffany told me. So everybody's like looking at Tiffany like, bitch, what's up? Tiffany's like, oh, well, Derek told me. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is where I was like, okay, now all these motherfuckers know that Lawrence is fucking with Tasha. Why didn't nobody, y'all supposed to be her friends, why didn't anybody think to tell Issa that shit? But then again, Issa's been kind of playing this role like she's over Lawrence and shit. On top of that, I don't really know, like, they're all friends, but I get that her and Molly are, like, best friends. And it seems like Tiffany and Kelly are kind of, like, best friends. But they're all a group of best friends together. You know what I mean? So, I kind of get maybe why they didn't tell Issa, because maybe they're not as close. Or maybe they just didn't want to hurt her feelings. But fuck that. Me and my friends, like, if you know somebody I'm fucking with is fucking with somebody, even if it's somebody from 15 years ago, they still sending a screenshot to me, let me know, oh, so-and-so is with so-and-so now. Like, you know what I mean? So I thought that was kind of shitty, but I guess I was just applying that to how my friendships go. But I definitely would have wanted to know, and I thought that was kind of shitty that they didn't tell her. Anyway, as they're saying this, Molly pulls the bitch social media up like within 3 seconds. It's crazy how easy it is to find out some shit about people that quick. Especially like with all this social media shit. Anyway, I'm sorry guys. I'm just getting like over a cold. But yeah, so she passes the phone around and they're fucking letting Tasha have it. Kelly and Tiffany talk about, yeah, that lace front, she's doing too much in that lace front. And Kelly's like, yeah, it look like she's about to go dance at some strip club she named or some shit. Shit was funny. So Issa is like, well, yeah, we've been together 5 years, maybe I should just give him some time to, just, figure shit out. And Tiffany is like, yeah, but it's kind of hard to get a man to get over, you cheating on him, which is true. Motherfucking Kelly was like, fuck that bullshit. She said out of those 5 years, 2 of those years he was laying on that goddamn couch trying to create some business plan to get his business started. Fuck that shit. Move on from his bum ass. And I was right with her. So then next thing we move on, Issa goes to that goddamn Chad. She goes to Chad's fucking house. I want to punch Chad in his motherfucking mouth. He is such an arrogant ass, pompous ass, motherfucking condescending, sarcastic ass asshole. Anyway, she gets to the door, and it's already awkward as fuck because this is Lauren's friend, and she's just trying to figure out what's going on with Lawrence and shit like that. So she, he comes to the door. Oh, how's it going? Just fucking sarcastic as fuck. You do something different with your hair. And she's like, yeah, I use a different conditioner. And she was like, he's like, oh yeah, talking about some fucking juice bar and shit down the street. Oh yeah, we go there all the time. And he's just such an asshole. Basically, she's like, is Lawrence motherfucking ass in there or what? He's like, Lawrence? Oh, no, Lawrence isn't here. And she's like, all right, motherfucker, like, I'll talk to you later. She's walking down the stairs. He's like, yeah, continue to keep using that conditioner. It looks great on your hair. Like, just being an asshole. Anyway, next scene, Tasha and Lawrence are sitting there watching that show that Regina Hall is in. That show where she's like a slave. The show where she's like a slave. Random as fuck. It's like another little 10-minute segment. I'm not understanding where this is going. But yeah, they're sitting there watching this show, and then Tasha gets a phone call or text from her mom, something about a family barbecue that's going on. And Tasha was like, hey, like, my family's having a barbecue and I wanted to invite you, but no pressure though, because, they're allegedly just kicking and just hanging out. But we all know that her motherfucking feelings is in it. So he's like, basically, he didn't even actually answer her. He was basically sitting there kind of depressed, it looked like almost. But he basically comes out and tells Tasha that he fucked Issa. And her whole face went from to hurt. I don't know if that looked hurt, but it changed. You could see her whole demeanor change, her whole vibe and aura change as soon as he said that. And she's, because her feelings are in it, obviously. And she's like, like, what does this mean? Like, do you still love her? Or that's what I took from it. Do you still love her? Are you going to get back together? And he's like, I just don't know, She's basically like, get your punk ass out my motherfucking apartment. Threw his ass out. So then Lawrence goes with the punk ass Chad to go look for an apartment. Chad's like flirting and shit with this realtor. And fuck that scene. Basically, Lawrence gets his own apartment now. Signs a lease and shit for that, I guess. So then we move on to Issa and Frida. This situation is kind of weird. So we all know they moved into a high school now, and they're trying to get their program started, but nobody's really participating. They haven't had one kid show up to the program. So they went to the principal, which is a black man, to see if he can kind of help, get the kids to come to the program. And he's sitting there all disinterested and shit and acting like he's too busy to even deal with anything. And so he asked them, oh, well, who's the teacher that's supposed to be helping you out with it? And I don't know if y'all caught this shit, but I caught it. He was like, or she said, Miss Alvarez. And he was like, Alvarez. Okay, well, I'm going to get you somebody else to, to help you out with it or whatever. And he was like, yeah, and shit's just been slipping through the cracks, it's a lot of shit going on, and a lot of kids are coming, and we're just overpopulated, so maybe we should go ahead and build that wall. I mean, and if you're from California, being in California, like, we all know that LA and, that whole Southern California region is it's a lot of Hispanics and stuff like that. So excuse me, especially in like the the lower income areas, like where the school is, and yeah, it was a really racist ass fucking comment. And you could see as soon as he said that, Issa and Frida, their whole faces changed as well, and they're sitting there like, did this motherfucker really just say this shit? So anyway, the next day they come in and Frida's like, yeah, I was really kind of disturbed about that comment that he made about building the wall. And Issa's kind of like blowing it off because she's like, like it is what it is. Like I can't really change this man. But as they're walking and talking, oh shit, let me go back a little bit before that. So they get done talking to the principal. They come in the next day and they walk into the library and it's full of kids. And it's a black woman named Mrs. Andrews that, I guess helped get this shit together. And so they're all excited, like, damn, we got kids. There's about 25 kids sitting in the library ready for them to go. So, of course, Issa and Frida are cool because that's what they're there for. So then they leave out of there, and I guess one of the kids is like, oh, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. And they're like, damn, like, the kids is feeling us, like, the program is turning around, like, it's going to work out for us. And that's when Frida started telling her, like, damn, I was kind of feeling some kind of way about that comment he said about the wall and shit like that. She was like, I watched some documentary last night, and then I tweeted Ava, who was the writer for Queen Sugar. We all know her. And she liked my comment and shit like that. So they're having this conversation about it. And as they're doing that, that fucking principal walks by some Hispanic kids, and he's like, oh yeah, speak that Spanish on the bus. We speak English around here. And I'm like, this motherfucker is kind of, he's an asshole, and he's obviously racist against Hispanic people. So they walk out of the building, and Frida's like, okay, like, this is too much. Like, I think we should tell the boss to, to maybe pull out of the school or whatever. And Issa's like, no, we're not doing that. She's like, because I don't want you to tell her anything negative regarding this program, because this is what I'm doing. Like, this is my project. This is riding on me. And I don't want her to look at anything negative. The program is turning around, which I get where Issa was coming from on that point, because, like, they are there to help the kids. Like, you can't, like, if you pull out of that, the kids will be hurt, not this man, because he obviously doesn't give a fuck about the kids anyway, as far as them doing this program and shit like that. So Issa's like, well, like, we could say whatever you want to say or whatever we want to say, but at the end of the day, we can't change this man's mind. Like, he's still going to be a racist ass motherfucker, so it's no point of us even worrying about that, which I get. So Frida was in her feelings about that. She was like, all right, well, that's really how you feel about it? And Issa's like, yeah, like, it is what it is. I just want this program to work. Issa's focused on the kids, and Frida's focused on this man. So I was with Issa at that point, But then Frida just, takes off because she got kind of, frustrated with that little conversation or whatever. So as Frida storms off, the principal is there, and Issa walks up to him, and he's like, yeah, we got to stick together, and just like, what do you say, how the Jews stick together, and I hate saying that. That's what he said, though. How the Jewish people stick together, and the Mexicans stick together. And he was like, I remember once upon a time this school was black, and now it's nothing but brown and taco meat, or something like. And at that point, Issa, in my opinion, you should have just been like, okay, like, look, you're offending a lot of people with these fucking comments. Stop your bullshit. Like, we're here to help the kids, but, like, you're making a lot of racist ass comments, and he's doing it in the form, like, he thinks it's funny. And it's really not. And I guess maybe he felt comfortable saying that in front of Frida because she was white. Maybe he assumed she was some kind of Trump supporter of this wall or some shit. And because she's black, she probably feels the same way that he does. Talking about Issa. Because Issa's black, she feels the same way he does, which is not always the fucking truth. And I hate when people do that shit. Like, they think just because we're black, we're all supposed to think the same way or feel the same way or share the same view. you know. Anyway, at that point when he had said that to Issa, I think Issa kind of realized, okay, like, wait, like, kind of taking this too far, you know, but she didn't say anything to him. But at that point, I think that would have been when I personally would have called Frida and be like, okay, like, look, he just made another comment to me, you know, maybe we should, you know, run it by our boss just to kind of let her know what's going on or whatever, and just take it from there. But we'll see how this shit gonna pan out. But as of now, the program look like it's about to start thriving. They have kids that are connecting with them, and they look cool. So moving on. So Molly's law firm, they have like a suite at a hockey game. So Molly decides to go, and she was going to use that as an opportunity to try to kiss a little corporate ass, rub elbows with the partners and shit, which is what she did. So she goes into one of the partners, white man, of course, and you know, starts talking about the crab rolls and shit, and just trying to make small talk with them and about the game and shit like that. But that shit kind of backfired because the next day the same gentleman was standing there talking to another one of her colleagues, and she like brought up some, I guess it was a crab roll. There, she made a reference to the crab roll from what they were talking about last night, and about him eating it for breakfast or something like that. And he's like, yeah, that was just a joke. Like, you know, and she just looked kind of foolish, you know. So at that point, I think she realized, okay, like, damn, I'm looking kind of ridiculous trying to kiss ass, and it's making me look stupid. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was that. Next scene. Issa starts stalking Tasha, and come to find out her Instagram name is Tosh Money 289. So that's what I'm gonna start calling the whole Tosh Money. So she starts stalking the bitch Instagram and Facebook and shit. And while she's on her Facebook page, she finds out that she works at Broadway Federal. So she's like, all right, this bitch works at the bank, Broadway Federal. So she drives over to Broadway Federal. And it's right across the parking lot from the Best Buy, where motherfucking Lawrence used to work last season. So she put two and two together like, oh, that must be how these motherfuckers know each other. So she's sitting in the car and she's like contemplating like, damn, what should I do? What should I do? So we see this scene where she walks into the bank and Tasha's at the counter. She's like, hey, how may I help you? And Issa says, I should say Isha. Issa says, oh yeah, I just want to make a deposit, and knocks this bitch out cold. And I'm like, okay, I know that shit was fake because Issa ain't got balls like that. So, you know, of course she was imagining that. And so we get back to, she's still sitting in the car. And as she's thinking that, Tasha and another coworker like walks by. And I guess they're going on lunch or something. Motherfucker Issa takes her seat and just, you know, so she could hide so Tasha wouldn't see her. And as this is going on, Molly and Lawrence are like, I guess in almost like I don't know if it was a park or something, but Lawrence was on his way to work and he sees Molly standing at this coffee cart getting coffee. So he goes up to her and he's like really hesitant because of course this is an awkward situation. And he knows that she probably knows that he fucked her the other night. So, yeah, he goes up to her, and they hadn't seen each other, so they kind of give this fake hug, and it's just awkward. Oh, hey, how are you doing? I'm good. And he's like, what are you doing around here? Or she's like, what are you doing around here? And he's like, oh, I'm going to work, you know. And he turns to walk away, and I was at that point, I was like, Molly, like, stop him, like talk to his ass, grab him, like, figure out what the fuck is going on. And that's exactly what she did. She turned around, she's like, look, Lawrence, like, what's really going on? Like, you know, like, Issa's really sorry about what happened. You know, she's still torn up. But he was like, and? Like, as soon as she said, I was like, damn, that was kind of the wrong thing to say. But yeah, she was like, and? Or he was like, and? Like, you know, it is what it is. But she was like, you know, where do you stand with everything? Pretty much just trying to get information. And you know what? They got my ass with this scene. Because as soon as Lawrence walked away or that conversation was over, Molly calls Issa. Issa picks up the phone. Hey, what's up? She's like, yeah, after 5 times of trying to get his attention, he finally saw me. And I'm like, wait a minute. So y'all bitches set that shit up? that's basically what happened. Issa had sent Molly to where she knew Lawrence was going to be so Lawrence can see her, so Molly can figure out where the hell Lawrence's head was. Y'all got me. Well, basically, she's like, yeah, it took him 5 times to finally notice me or whatever. But Molly told her, like, hey, he's done and he's found a new apartment and basically, like, he's moving on. So at that point, you could see all over Issa's face that she was devastated that this shit was happening. And the next thing we see with her, she's, like, in her apartment. There was, like, this open space in the closet where Lawrence had, it was like Lawrence's old side of the closet. She, like, goes to her side, takes shit, puts it in on the racks and kind of spreads it out to kind of make it like one closet instead of 2 separate sides. I guess she's just come to the realization that it's over and, you know, maybe she needs to just move on. And then she also moves the pillow from just her side of the bed to the middle of the bed. So, yeah, it's sad to see Issa going through this shit, but at the same time, like, man, you fucked up. And it's like, I want to see them back together. And as much as I hate Tosh Money and Oh Boy together, like, it's, I don't know, I just don't want to see them work. But at the same time, it's like you can't be mad at Lawrence for what he's doing or Tosh Money because, I mean, it is what it is. Issa fucked up. You cheated, you know? Speaking of Tosh Money and Lawrence, excuse me, Lawrence goes, you know, it's like an attempted apology and shit. He goes to talk to Tosh Money. She comes outside, and he's like, yeah, you know, you didn't really deserve what happened, and yeah, you know, I slept with her, but it was a mistake and all of this. He never said I was sorry. And she's basically, and I hate when motherfuckers do this shit, she basically says, like, yeah, well, you know, we weren't exclusive anyway, and, you know, and you see that she's clearly hurt about the situation. But yeah, we were never exclusive anyway, so, you know, it is what it is. But look, I got some food cooking in there, so I need to get back to my food. And, you know, trying to play hard and shit. So he turns and walks his motherfucking ass away. And she's like, you hungry? And of course, he's like, yeah, I'm hungry. So they go in. So we assuming he went in there and ate a little bit more than the food. So I guess we'll figure that shit out next week or see that shit next week whenever it happens. But y'all, that's basically all that happened this week. But yeah, I'm feeling bad for Issa. I really want her to, I don't know, get her shit together. Oh, while she's laying in the bed, this bitch gets on Tinder and I guess she had been having some kind of conversation with somebody else on there. She basically sends a message and said, hey, do you want to fuck? And that's how the episode went off. So, yeah, it is what it is. Go ahead and like the video. Subscribe to the channel. And please comment. Let me know what the hell y'all think. I've been looking for comments. Shit ain't been happening. I know I'm a new channel, so I'm just trying to see what everybody is thinking. So go ahead. Like, subscribe, comment. See you guys next week.